question, practice question 1. Let's look at the choice of information given to us. Expected sales. So sales will become our inflow. And purchases will become our outflow. Right, so this is the information, right? That's good. Prepare cash budget for the month of January to April. Wages to be paid to workers, 60,000 each month. And add a balance at the bank on 1st Jan is 64,000. So this will be our opening balance for January. Okay, this question also gives us 3 condition, 3 situation or scenario. If we have a deficit fund, limit to 80,000, we will use the bank arrangement. If we have a deficit within 80,000 to 328,000, we will use the debentures. And if it is more than 328,000, we will issue shares in order to increase our fund. Right? So these 3 is a 3 different scenario. It depends to us whether our scenario have how much deficit. Again, deficit means when you take all the receipt minus all the total payment, you get positive, it is surplus. You get negative, it is deficit. Let's prepare our format. So we will start with title. Cash budget. We have a 4 months to do, right? So let's start with Jan, February, March, April. And this question is using currency dollar. So we just copy all. Alright, look what will be our format. It will start with the receipt. Then we'll have a payment. But before that, we'll have a total receipt. And we'll have a total payments. Okay, no need to leave a lot of space here, right? Depend on the question. And then we'll have a opening balance, or you can just write balance BD. And then we have a closing balance, right? But we have in the middle surplus or deficits. Alright, let's give a bit of space here because we have a 3 different scenario. Oops. Okay. Surplus, deficit. And then we have a 3 different scenario. Scenario number 1, we will use bank arrangement. Scenario number 2 is we issue debentures. Debentures, for your information, is a liabilities. It's a long-term liabilities. Number 3, it is issue shares, and shares is will liquidate the ownership of shareholders, but shares is classified under equity. So everything is in order. That's good. Let's play around with the alignment a bit. Right, total receipt, total payment, and all this. Alright, let's come back to the question just now. Here, let's insert the sales and purchases. Okay, how I make this, I'll put it side by side so that we will be able to see the whole question together with answer altogether. Start, insert with sales. Sales will be cash inflow. When you sell to your customer pay to you and you will receive cash. So sales. Here, there's no information regarding whether it is a cash sales or credit sales. So very easy question here. We just fill in the number. 480,000, 320,000, 360,000, and we have a 320,000. Okay. Alright. Now we already have this. Next is expected purchase. We have 384,000. When you purchase, you pay or you have to pay. So in this question also no specification whether this is a credit purchase or cash purchase. So we assume it is as a cash purchases. So fill in the number 384,000, 640,000, 648,000, and 720,000. Okay. Right. So usually I will be very concerned about how the formatting of my number and my Excel, right? So we have this, right? Next, from the following information, prepare cash budget. Wages to be paid is 60,000 each month. So wages to pay to worker. So it is a cash outflow, which is payment. So we write here wages paid. How much is it? 60,000 per month. So, alright, just drag it. Okay. Now let's insert the opening balance 64,000 here. You insert it in opening balance 64,000. Okay. Alright. So finish all the requirements. So now let's prepare the formatting for total 8. Total of this. Total for payment. Okay, total up. And then let's calculate surplus or deficit. Surplus or deficit, total receipt minus total payment. So, total receipt minus total payment. 36,000. Don't forget we have another 64,000 here. So basically we have surplus 36,000 and we have the opening balance 64,000. So it is 36 plus 64. Fantastic. Let's drag it to the next. Alright. So now, once you get a closing balance 100,000 here, this will be your next month opening balance, which is 100,000. Okay. Alright. Look at this. Surplus minus deficits. Okay, surplus 320,000 minus deficit 700,000. We have deficit of 380,000, but remember we have an opening balance is around 100,000 here. So without insert any scenario here, any amount in the scenario here, we will have a deficit of 280,000. It means we have a short of 280,000 so far, because deficit we have 380, we have an opening balance of 100,000, so we have a short of 280,000. And look at the scenario given to us. 280,000 is scenario number 2 because it is within, look at the question here, it is within 80 to 328,000, so we will use the debentures. So the whole amount 280,000, we will get it from issue debentures. When you issue debentures, debenture holder give you money, they get the debenture certificate where claim that they are your creditor. So during the year, you will have a closing balance 0 because all the deficit will be funded by debentures. Look at March, right? Since we have no balance in February, opening balance for March also will be 0. Okay? So this is 0. So look at this. Total receipt minus total payment, you get a deficit of 348,000. So 348,000 with no balance means the whole 348,000 is your deficit. So 348,000 is beyond the second scenario. It means it is from the third scenario, which is more than $328,000. So we will issue shares to cover up for this deficit amount. So 348,000, you issue shares to the shareholders. Shareholders give you money or fund, right? And you cover up the whole 348,000 deficit using your issuance of shares. That's why closing balance for it that year also will be 0. So next month, which is April. April also, the opening balance will be 0 because the last month closing balance is 0, right? So look at total receipt 320,000, total payment 780,000. So you have deficit of 460,000. And this is obviously beyond the second scenario. So it will be a third scenario where you will issue shares of 460,000. So that is the answer for our question. Any questions so far? You can just text in Microsoft Teams, in chat, and in whatever medium that you like, right? So don't forget to submit all the answer for the question. See you in the next class, next Wednesday for the last class. Bye bye.